All right, we're going to take a look at adding content to your website. Adding content, you're able to do that by clicking on the Add Content item on your shortcuts list, and it lists all the content types that are available on your website. This is a way of defining different fields for different content types, so that, like a basic page and an event would have different fields. As an event would have some date fields, but a basic page would not. So what we need to do is be able to kind of split them out into kind of what's makes sense in terms of a hierarchy or a structure within your website. But creating a content, whether it's a basic page or a blog post, that being an article, they're all pretty much the same. They have fields, standard fields. So we're going to create a basic page, and this will give us a good understanding of kind of how all content works on the website. You're going to add a title to this, and this is the actual page title. So we're just going to go test page title. You can call it whatever you want. One thing that's important is that all content on your website needs to be unique. So if you actually have two pages that are called test page title, the system will tell you that there's another page called that, so that you make sure that you name it something else, or go, if you did not know that page already existed, you can then go and edit that page that is already there. Anyway, so we give it a title, and then we can choose an image to upload. Right from our desktop, we can choose to upload an image here and click upload. And while that's uploading, now keep in mind that larger images will take long time to upload, depending on your connection speed and how busy the website is at the time. So remember, if you're uploading an image from your camera, your digital camera with 10 megapixel plus digital camera, maybe scale it down before you do upload it. But you can upload the large image and it will be automatically cropped and resized, depending on the need. And in here we can add any body. There's a whole tutorial that's just on the WYSIWYG editor itself, so take a look at that. We'll just add some basic content here, some dummy content. And we go down here. We have the options for text formats for full HTML, filtered HTML, and plain text. We're going to keep everything at full HTML. If we were to use filtered HTML or plain text, we would notice that all our text formatting would be lost when we save it, or it wouldn't display, it wouldn't be lost, and then also the image wouldn't show. So what we're going to make sure is most of the time we're going to use full HTML, and if we wanted to strip out, say, some extra coding and that sort of thing, we can switch to the other ones. But let's leave it at full HTML. Tagging content, if you'll find this common on, say, an article or a blog post or a basic page. This is a way of kind of categorizing your content so that readers can find similar articles or similar pages. Or say you wrote a blog post about President Obama, and you also did a photo gallery of President Obama. We can then add a tag of Obama and click enter, and then it adds it there. It also adds it to the list of available tags that are already on the site. We can also choose current ones, and you can see the ones that are listed here are just kind of dummy content, but these would be real words. After you move your site live, you'll have your own list of keywords that you can choose from, and we can continue to add more. White House, and we can also remove items if we need to, and go in and add more, as many as we'd like, to categorize the content, and I'll show you when we save the content type what it's going to look like. Menu settings. So depending on what content type it is, we can have the ability to put it into a menu. Checking on this will give the option to provide a menu title link. Now remember, this is different than the actual page title. This is what appears actually in the menu itself. So if we were to go to, say, the home page, you can see that there's home and about us. So the About Us page can actually be about your company, but the button title would actually be About Us. So let's go back to our created basic page, and we can add a description. Description is what appears when you hover over something. So say, for example, you hover over the cart here, you can see it says view your shopping cart. So we can give a little insight into what they're going to get into. We can say view the test page, although that's not very descriptive at all, but you can see once we save it what that means. And then we can give it a parent item main menu. You got to remember that in your website there is the user menu, there is the main menu, and there is the footer menu. And if you have other features, if you have a website with different features, you might have a couple of more menu items, but for the most part the standards are those three. We can choose, depending on what item we're choosing, we have the option of choosing footer menu or main menu. As you see, you don't have the option of choosing user menu in here, as it probably doesn't pertain. User menu is more likely for logins, logouts, my accounts, that sort of thing is kind of handled kind of at a higher level. So we can choose a menu item. We can also choose a parent of the menu item. So we can choose this under the About Us. So that means it'll appear underneath the About Us. And the weight, the lighter it is, the further up on the list it is, and the heavier it is, the further down it on the list it is. So if we did this at a plus 50, and we were to click save, this will end up here on the right. And if we gave it a minus 50, it would end up all the way over here in the menu items. Or if you had a vertical menu, it would be higher up in the list as opposed to lower down. So heading back to here, we look at our revision information. This is important when we're going back and editing this page. It may not be so important when we create the page, but we can say, you know, this is our first draft. And when we come back, our second edition might, or a second edit might be fixed typos. And then we can view all the revision information later. So let's just leave that as first draft. We don't have to put anything there if we don't want to. We can also disable it so we can, there doesn't need to be a new creation or a new content revision. Comment settings, depending on what kind of content type it is, whether it's a page or an article, we can open or close the comments. Currently for static pages we have it closed, as that's more like About Us pages, static pages that really don't need any communication on. However, in articles or blog posts it would be open. But if we felt we needed to open up the comments on this, we can click open and move towards that. But we'll leave that closed for now. Scheduling options, we can schedule any content to be published and unpublished on a certain date just by using the pop-up calendar, giving it a time, and then unpublish on a certain date, or we can just leave that blank so it just publishes on a certain date and stays published. And the system will automatically recognize that it needs to publish and unpublish certain objects. And then these content types then get listed into the content area under the published or the scheduled area. You can see what content is scheduled to be published and unpublished on certain dates. As you can see, there's nothing right now, but you can, once you've added a published time on it. We'll just leave that blank for now. And authoring information, as you can see, it already puts in our username. We can also choose other people, other usernames by just typing in their information. You can see that there's several. Just for our demo purposes, there's several users with user test, so you can have a few options, or if you can't remember their full username, you can just type in a shorter version of it. And then authored on, when we click publish, this will change the authored on date. If you'd like to adjust the publish date manually, say later on you made an update to this page and you want it, or say it was a blog post, and you wanted it to bump to the top of the list, you can then change the author date, or you can also use the promotion settings, which we're going to go into next. So we'll just leave this as published by us. And then we go into our promotion settings, promote it to the front page and stick it at the top of the list. Now, promoted to the front page is important in the case of articles or products, depending on the layout of your home page. So we'll just jump back to the home page here. You can get an idea. If we were writing an article and we wanted it published to the front page, we would check that box, or it might automatically be checked. If we didn't want it to show up in here, or say this was like a list of most recent products and that sort of thing, we would then uncheck the promoted to the front page. Now, sticky at the top of lists, for example, if we're creating an article and it shows the recent articles here, and say we created a very important blog post or article a long time ago and it kind of got bumped down the list because of new blog posts that were created after it, we can then go click on sticky at the top of the list, and then it would always stay at the top of this list until we uncheck sticky. So that's important to keep in mind, is that when you see that your content's not changing your home site, check this whether or not it's sticky at the top of the list. You can have multiple items that are sticky at the top of the list, but as you can see, based on this outline here, there's only 2 items. So use it sparingly. Don't need to use it too often. And so we can also save this as a draft and come back at it later, and that's just the same as deleting, or not deleting something, making something unpublished in our content management area. So let's click publish just for the heck of it, and then we can see what the page is going to look like when we're all done. There we go. There's our page title, and there's our image size, and then there's our content, and you can see there's our tags: Obama, White House, arrows, which is of course dummy ones. But you can see, clicking on arrows, what the end user will then see is other articles, blog posts, what have you, photo galleries that are related to that one as well, so that they can kind of go and see more interesting areas if they want to read further about a topic. We can also use those tags for, say we have, an annual Christmas thing, and so we will always want to tag our blog posts with Christmas and our photo galleries with Christmas, so that an end user can always come in and see, say the last 10 years of all the Christmas party photos or whatever it is. Anyway, so going back and editing the content, you can see that there's a view and edit tab, so we can go back and edit, and we can then make any edits we need to the page. And then one of the important pieces is this revision information. So we can say fix typo, and let's just go up here and fix a typo, and let's just say this needed an ED, and then we can go down here and click save. And then we can see, once we've clicked save, that there's a new tab at the top called revisions right here. And then we can go in and see all the revisions for the site. This is especially important if there are multiple people, say, collaborating on a blog post or an article, and then you need to see what's happening. You can also revert to a previous revision, delete it, and this list can get pretty long, if you have a fairly important article or whatever, or even over a period of time. Say you always have an About Us page that may be constantly changing over the next 3 years. Sometimes we make mistakes and delete a whole paragraph and click save, and we forget, and we think we may have lost it. We can always go back here in revisions and revert it back. So it's always available there if you need it. And then clicking back to edit, we can add a new revision to this page. We can also remove the images. We can also edit the summary. Edit the summary is a way of, say, providing a different teaser for this page. So this might be more applicable to, say, a blog post, whereas what appears on the home page is just a kind of a little snippet of what's in the body. But say we wanted to have granular control over what this says, we can then change the summary of it, adding different content into this area, and so that it's a little more appealing, say, as a teaser. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best way to describe it, is as a teaser to what's happening. And then we can always hide that summary up and then click save, and then of course that would adjust wherever it appears on the home page. Just to jump back after we've saved all that, let's just refresh our home page here. We can see that the About Us, there's our test title page, because we gave it as About Us as an apparent, and then we can even add other items under this so that it can go 10 deep if you'd like. Obviously keeping it to a minimum would be a great idea. Maybe not going to second level, maybe just a third level down would be probably enough. Don't go too crazy on it. So that gives you an idea of creating content on your site. Each page is a little bit different, or each content type is a little bit different, but you get the general idea. So photo galleries, there will be extra fields for adding up and uploading images. And you got to remember that Drupal is not a page manager in the traditional sense. It's a content manager. So everything pulls from a pool of content on the website. So you might be tempted to manually edit this block to add something in here, but it won't allow you because it's pulling from a pool of content. Same with the call to action links. Although it displays 3 here, you could have 6 action links, and then it pulls them randomly into here, so that you can have kind of changing content on a regular basis for your end users. So don't be tempted to just kind of manually edit certain blocks, as everything's kind of pulling dynamically from the content management system. Anyways, thanks for watching.